Hey everyone, welcome back to Bird Talk with Terrence Mathis. I'm William Brandon. Please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Atlanta Sports Unlimited, so y'all don't miss an episode. You're going to want to hear what he has to say today and what he says after every game this year. So please make sure you subscribe. Well, I hate to say it, Terrence, but we did say the Falcons started and needed to get those preseason reps in.
You see, I'm rubbing my chin because I'm trying to figure out what we witnessed on Sunday. People always say, "Oh, it don't matter if you don't get preseason reps, blah 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 blah," and we can always second guess. We don't know if they had preseason snaps, it still wouldn't have been an outcome. But
Yeah.
what we can speculate is this: when you do a dress rehearsal, you get all the penalties, all the mental errors out the way, and then you correct them and then get better week after week. It looked like to me on Sunday, the Falcons was playing their first preseason game. I thought they didn't know what they wanted to be, what they wanted to do offensively. I thought defensively they were vanilla and base. And one thing I did not see was energy. None of those guys looked like they were out there having fun. At some point, like late in the second quarter, they looked tired.
Mhm.
And then, watching the game on television, you can hear the announcer say, well, Arthur Smith believes in conditioning and penalty laps and practice whatsoever. Maybe you want to stop running them so much and stop having penalty laps so they can be fresh for games. Um, it just didn't look right to me, and I was trying to figure it out, and it just didn't look right. It was, of course, you had a rookie left guard that you know got baptized to the NFL. Um, the passing scheme didn't look clean or crisp, or you know, even the quarterback, even Matt Ryan looked confused, with what guys was doing in the passing game. And then be it, he didn't have much time to throw the football. I thought the running game was sufficient. I thought at times, you know, I thought we was trying to prove a point at times that we can run the football when we should have been throwing the football. As you remember, when we talked about the things that needed to be done for this football team to win, one of the first things I said is third down efficiency
Mhm.
and red zone
Oh yeah,
efficiency. I
exactly.
said touchdowns, not field goals. That's the way you win this football game, and not give up big plays of 20 yards or more defensively.
Mhm.
And they did all these things. They did all these things. And this what happens, I don't know. I don't know, we'll see what happens this coming weekend.
Yeah, it was rough. In case anybody was under a rock, what we're talking about is the Atlanta Falcons did lose yesterday in convincing fashion. What was it, 28-6? I believe the
It was
final.
33, 32 to 6 or something like that.
So look at there. I was being generous. Oh yeah, excuse me, 32-6 was the final. I even got this here. This is
Yeah.
nothing new. It's backwards. You viewing it at home, but it basically says nothing new. Nothing new. That was on
Well,
AJC today. But
well,
they had,
William, it's one of those things where what is the psyche of the football team? When I say the football team, I'm talking about the players.
yeah,
Um, do they get in their cars and get home and say this is the same old stuff or we've been going through over the last 2 3 years? Um, at some point, you as players got to look in the mirror. You got to look in the mirror, and you got to look. You got to. Each individual has to be selfish in the team concept to help this team win. What do I mean by that? Grady Jerry gonna have to say, I'm making all the sacks, I'm making all the tackles.
Mhm.
Deion Jones says, nobody's getting by me. I'm running sideline to sideline. Terrell is going to have to say, nothing's getting over my head. I'm knocking down everything thrown my way. Offensive line, no one is touching my quarterback. And I'm going to open up holes for my running backs to get big chunk yards. Every receiver, oh, you're not going to cover me. I'm going to catch every ball thrown to me. My quarterback, I am not going to take a sack. I'm going to try to complete every ball that I throw. At some point, you got to make it about you, because you can't look around. Obviously, you can't look around because there's nobody around you that's going to step up and propel this team to the next level to where they want to be. So why not you?
Yeah.
Stop looking for Matt Ryan. Stop looking for Jared. Stop looking for Jones. Stop looking for Ridley. Stop looking for Pitts. It's you. It's you. It comes down to you. You can't rely on others. You have to do your job at a high rate for this team to be successful, because you're not good enough to go through the motions and then flip a switch and be good.
Yeah, I was looking at a chart that showed basically Jalen Hurts' efficiency and where he was completing his passes, and they were mainly to Fabian Moreau's side. So like you said, Terrell pretty much kept his contained, but
right.
they found a weakness and exploited it.
Right. You know what? I was surprised how the defense played. I thought we were going to see something different defensively. I thought, I was like, oh, this new defensive scheme, we're going to do some things to confuse the second-year quarterback. He looked like a 10-year veteran against us. And we didn't do it. And it cost us. And maybe, and then, I give them the benefit of the doubt is this. If we rush him, if we blitz him, and we miss him, he's going to get chunk plays on us with his legs. Yeah. Maybe that was the thought. But their young receivers were better than our veteran receivers. It was just amazing. And here's the thing. I don't know how you use Kyle Pitts. I think you can use him better whatsoever. But here's what I see. After his first catch, he gets hit. It seemed like he said to me, woo, I ain't never been hit like this before. Or I've never seen speed like this before. If you would have played him in the preseason, he would have been acclimated to what was going to happen in the regular season. And people says, oh, it's just preseason. No, it doesn't count, but it matters. And then you says, well, okay, case in point. Aaron Rodgers didn't play in the preseason. Duh. What did he look like? Then you're going to say, well, Dak Prescott didn't play in the preseason, but look at the weapons around Dak and look at that offensive line. It's a veteran. It's a really good offensive line. And then you look at Patrick Mahomes. He played in the preseason. What does he do? It seemed like most of the quarterbacks that played in the preseason had good days. That's what it seemed like to me. Tom Brady had a good day. Here's the thing. You have a new system. Well, let's before I go to the new system thing. We heard in the presser after the game that the head coach took it on the chin and says, my fault. I didn't prepare us well enough to win this football game. You had 2 weeks. So it goes to tell me that what I seen in the game plan and offensively was we're going to rely on the run. We're going to get big chunks. We're going to get big hitters from the run. We're going to play action and do those things. It didn't work out that way for you. It didn't work out that way for you. So now you're going to have to get more extensive in your passing game and in your protection to play big boy football in the NFL.
Like we were saying about the preseason, the Falcons in that game early on, they made it to the 2-yard line. And play after play. I mean, the first and goal was a play action pass, a legal formation call on Pitts, who I think if he maybe would have did a preseason with him and Matt Ryan and did their actual plays instead of trying to be vanilla, then maybe they
Mhm.
could have worked out some of these kinks, such as
Right.
illegal formation. And then they followed up with the next play with
Mhm.
a false start by Dahlman, who was replacing Mayfield at the time, who was already having his own struggles.
Right.
I mean, and it kept on until they got to 3rd and goal from the 9-yard line. So there is no first down. It's touchdown or else. And
Right.
Matt followed the receiver, who I guess his intended target ended up being, was it Patterson or Mike Day? I think it was Mike Davis.
Yes, Davis.
And he looked at him the entire way.
Right.
So even if he would have completed it, he would have never made it.
He wouldn't have scored anyway. He wouldn't have scored anyway. Well, here, let's go back to your point about the 1st and goal and the legal formation. I wouldn't even blame that on not playing in preseason.
Mm-hmm.
You have lined up that way all summer.
Okay.
All summer. So somehow you've been lining up that way and nobody has said anything.
Good point.
Because you go in a game and line up that way.
Yeah.
So obviously he thought it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the coaching staff thought he was lined up legally. You see what I'm saying? Now the offsides, it's a mental error. And like you said, the 3rd and goal, I thought they played on one side of the field on that pass play. And Matt Ryan only had 2 options on that side. Yeah. And both of them was covered. So here we are. We talked about this 2 weeks ago when we talked about, this as well, Arthur Smith just holding back. He hasn't opened up the playbook yet. And I said this, what you've seen in the preseason is the same plays he's going to run in the regular season. And it was, because he didn't know anything else. He doesn't know anything else. So I'm not here to bash the Falcons. It could get better. But here's what I'm saying. How does it get better? What can they do and where can they go to get better? First thing is penalties. Yes, they're cut down on the penalties. Yes, they're cut down on the penalties. Execution. Well, they can execute well if they believe in what's being called. See, no one's talking about that. Maybe they're not executing because they don't believe in what's being called. I don't know. Well, here it is. This is what we know, William. This is what we know. And I said this a couple of weeks ago. Matt Ryan is more effective and more efficient in a hurry-up offense. And what did they do in the first series? They get it all the way down in the red zone, then they huddle up. And then things slow down and it goes to pops. I don't know. I don't know where they go from here.
And it's only going to get tougher. The left guard position is weak. Coach Smith today said he's not ruling out a change before Sunday's game against Tampa, where the Falcons are 13.5-point underdogs, because it's not going to get any easier. That offensive line, if they're not able to protect him as long, Matt's going to have to be quicker with his decision-making.
Right.
Even pre-snap decision-making as well.
Right.
Me personally, I would like to see him, like he's been a while. It's been a while. He's a veteran. I need him to take more responsibility, I guess, when he sees something that comes in, like you said, when the design is to the left and everyone in the building, TV, everyone knows where you're going.
Yeah.
Maybe you change the play.
Right.
I feel like you've maybe earned that right with the team and the regime to tell them, just as you saw Tom Brady do Thursday night to Byron Leftwich. He looked at his play and he looked at him and said, no.
No. Yeah, that's the thing. But you got to understand the difference between Tom Brady and Matt Ryan. Tom Brady is playing in an offense that he understands, he knows. Mm-hmm. Matt Ryan is playing in an offense that he's getting to learn over the last several months. So he don't really understand where do he go to with another play if he don't like the play that's being called. Mm-hmm. Because you're not comfortable enough in this offense where you're able to do that right now. Here it is. when your coach says he's not ruling out a change, you better make a decision like now.
Mhm.
And whatever that decision is, you need to start working on it because you thought this defense, they was rushing 4 people, only 4. You thought this defensive line was tough. You're about to play against arguably the best defensive line in the National Football League this Sunday. So you better fix it in a hurry. Now, what you can do, which you got to get out your own way and get your and leave your pride back at the house, is
Mhm.
this. Same thing Dallas did. They got the ball out quick. Get it out quick and early, quick and early, quick and early to get those linemen running side to side. And then once they got tired a little bit, they dropped back against man-to-man coverage, threw it over top. Great game plan. I was sitting there marveled by the game plan. Plus, Dallas offensive lineman is much better than the Falcons, but the Cowboys didn't take a chance against the Buccaneers to let Sue and Pierre Paul and all those guys to tee off on them. So it's a copycat league. So you're gonna have to get your pride out the way and not be stubborn and because I'm watching the game and here we are in the third quarter and I think we down 2 scores or all 3 scores. I don't know what it was at the time. And one of the announcers said, "Well, after speaking with Arthur Smith, he thinks most coordinators abandon the run too early, and then they run the ball, and now it's 2nd and 10." And I'm going, "You're down. You got to score points, and you're still running the football, trying to prove a point."
Yeah.
That didn't make any sense to me. Make any sense to me.
Yeah, they were in the game early on and just key mistakes, not scoring in the red zone. Like you said, you got to get sevens. That they would have had the lead. Maybe the momentum would have been different.
Right.
Defense could have teed off, played differently. But they
Right.
were down, and then they gave up that big score before the half.
Yes.
And you're like, it just deflates the building. And I'll say just from a perspective of being in the building that it was a lot of Philadelphia fans. These fans got to stop selling the tickets. You're not creating a home field advantage with that type of atmosphere. I will say that.
Well, this is a transplant city.
Yes, it is.
It is. So they may not be selling their tickets. They bought the tickets. They bought the tickets and they just Eagle. They just from Philly and they're Eagle fans. You're gonna see that all year. Maybe you won't see it against a Jacksonville Jaguars or somebody like that, but you're gonna see that. Wait till the Saints come to town.
I expect it with like the Saints and even in Philly, but there were large hordes that clearly came in from Philadelphia.
Of course,
But it's just the atmosphere. I feel like at times wasn't too home friendly for the team.
Right.
It was loud when Matt was on offense at some point.
Yeah.
I was like,
I heard that from sitting behind the screen. I can see that. Here's the thing. Now, you can hear rumblings of fans says, "Okay, it's a rebuild. Throw in the towel." Blah blah blah. It's only week 1.
Yeah, it's only week 1.
Now we see if we hired the right guy.
Mhm.
How do you adjust? What changes do you make? What adjustments do you make going into week 2 to be better? I'm not even talking about winning a football game. I'm talking about playing better.
Mhm.
Alignment, assignment, cut mental errors down. That's the penalties and energy. How do you do that? Now, if you come out like that and lose the ball game, okay, there's no moral victories in football, but at least you're trending upwards.
Yeah.
You can't come out flat against a Tampa Bay team. You're talking about 32 points. Now we're talking about 42, 50 points.
Mhm.
So you can't come out flat against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers football team. So the adjustments you make as a coaching staff and as players is crucial this week. And then I'm not talking about going out winning a football game. I'm talking about the effort, the energy, and the execution. That's what I'm talking about.
And you're a coach, so what would you be focused on today in the next few days going into Tampa? Or you try to forget all about yesterday's game besides the film?
Well, what I would do is I'd take first first you see, first you have to correct the mistakes.
Mhm.
Okay. Not the mental errors. Maybe a guy went the wrong way on the block, blocked the wrong guy, ran the wrong route, quarterback wrong read whatsoever. Defense wasn't set up properly, wasn't in the right place. So you fix those things.
Mhm.
You fix those things. And once you fix those things, now you find out, what did we do well? Let's hang our hats on what we do well and build on that. And then you got to come to practice with some energy, with energy as a coaching staff. I'm not talking about players,
Mhm.
as a coaching staff, because how you come to practice on Wednesday is going to determine how you play on Sunday. If you come thinking I'm gonna yell and scream and berate you to try to get you going, this is a different era, bruh.
Yeah.
It ain't about that anymore. You can't do that to people anymore, because what they do is they're gonna turn on you.
Mhm.
They'll turn on you. This is a new generation of players. You gotta tap into their egos and to help them go to the next level. You can't try to tear down their egos or deflate them, their confidence or their self-esteem, or you're not going to get anything out of it. I heard on the TV, announcer said, "Oh, Arthur Smith just yelled and berated, went from Calvin Ridley all the way down to the offensive line." At that point, he probably lost him, because he said, "We don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
We don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that right now. We know what's going on, but we don't want to hear that, because at the end of the day, you're part of the problem too. Not just us. You're part of, if we're supposed to be a family and a team, you're part of us too. So who yells at you when you call the wrong play? Who yells at you when you put us in a bad situation?
Mhm.
So why are you yelling at me? So that's the thing, as a coach, you got to understand that, okay, I got to take this. How can I put them in better situations? How can I do that? How can I make them successful? Because they're gonna make mistakes, and you sure have made some mistakes yourself. So who yells at you?
What kind of, I'm gonna rewind, and that second drive when they were in the goal line, what did you want to see? What kind of play calling would you have preferred to see?
You know, I would have flooded one side. I would have flooded one side with Pitts, Cage, and Ridley, and had Hurst on the other side as a tight end. And I would have flooded that side high low with Hurts coming on a shallow cross. Now you got four guys in the area in a window
Mhm.
where now Matt Ryan can go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
But I just think some of the things that they did in the passing scheme just didn't make any sense to me. It really it seemed to me that what it looked like to me was there was no emphasis all offseason on the passing game, but there was more emphasis on the running game. That's what it looked like to me.
It definitely seems that way. I didn't see any creativity really in the offensive passing game. Like I said, multiple times you could kind of see where Matt was going to be going with the ball.
Well,
It was just
it's hard to have any kind of creativity when you when you're dropping 7 and only rushing 4 and getting to the quarterback. And you only have, look, you have 7 guys to guard 4. Who's gonna be open? You see what I'm saying? Who's gonna be open? If you're able to rush 4, if you're able to rush 4 defensive linemen against 5 offensive linemen and a running back, so you got 6 guys to block 4 and they still sacking your quarterback, you're in trouble.
definitely. They did sack Matt for 3 sacks yesterday, but he had so many hurries and knockdowns. I mean, one
Yeah.
time he was laying flat. I mean, I saw the picture going around real time. I didn't realize he was down like that, but I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, that just
He
sums up.
got hit a lot. He got
They
hit
did.
a lot. Even after he threw the ball, he got hit a lot.
Mhm.
So, I don't know. Do you, let's go back to the red zone woes. Do you just practice red zone and to try to make it work? It's a mindset more than anything. It's a mindset. you can work, but then you can get a mental block when you get down there in the game. It's just one of those things that uh, people like to take the red zone and have different plays for the red zone.
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys that just kept the same plays if we was in the middle of the field. Because let me tell you why. Because that's what you practice more.
Mhm.
If you just practice red zone one day for 15 minutes a week, you're not going to be good at it. But what you've done between the 20s, you're good at. So what you do is run those same plays in the red zone, but they get condensed a little bit because you don't have a lot of room. But it's the same plays because now you know it. You know where you're supposed to be. Quarterback know where you're supposed to be. You get the ball out on time. But when you only practice maybe 5 or 7 plays one time a week for, I don't know, maybe 7, 10 minutes,
Yeah.
how you can't be efficient that way. You
That
can't.
makes sense. That's some good insight, Terrence. I mean,
Yeah,
that
you
makes
can't.
sense. And
You
I
can't.
even what you were the play that you were saying how you would spread them out and have Hayden Hurst. And that's the thing that I don't understand with all those weapons. I mean, they might not be necessarily the best in the NFL, but we have some weapons
Right. Right.
and you need to utilize them.
Right.
So, like you said, if you would have had that out there to at least open it up, maybe call
Yeah.
the dogs off a little bit because they
Right.
have to worry about all these people.
Right.
And that makes sense, though, exactly what you're saying about the red zone, as in
Yeah.
if you practice the same plays that you're always doing, when you get up there, they're already being rhythm. They already understand them. Less
I
likely
mean,
to make a mistake.
and it's William. Here's the thing, because this is I've been under this philosophy, for the years that I've played. Your third down plays usually are your red zone plays,
Mhm.
because when you get closer to the red zone, the field condenses a little bit, right?
Yeah.
On third down, it's usually third and 4 to 10 to 12 or whatever it is. So all it is the same plays with maybe a little deeper route
Yeah.
uh, combination, but it's the same play. And that's why we were so efficient in the red zone, because we ran the same plays if we was out in the middle of the field. But we knew that now that we're in the red zone, that route is a little bit shorter. The ball is going to come out a little bit quicker. But it was the same plays because we practiced it all week. We didn't just say, okay, we're going to take 10 plays and we're going to practice these for 7 minutes a day on a Thursday, whatever, or a Friday, and then we're going to run these plays in the red zone. Huh? How you going to get good? You can't get good. You can't execute that way. You can't.
Yeah, they were moving up the field those first two drives, and then, like you said, it's like a switch, just
It looked
change.
like they put on brakes.
Yeah.
And when they went no huddle and got in the red zone and got down there, and then they got into the huddle, I said, "Oh no, they just slowed the game down. They gave the Eagles chance to gather themselves
Mhm.
and now call certain defenses. When you going fast, they only can stay base. They only can stay base. There's no substitution. You're not going to see a whole lot of blitzing because they can't, because they don't know, they can't get the call in. They can't get people set up properly. But when you go to the huddle, now they get a fresh set of guys in there. Now they can dial up blitzes, double teams, all these different coverages and schemes when you go to the huddle.
Is that something the coach can already have ready to go on the fly, or is that as far as, hey, if we get up there in a quick play and get to the two, we're not going to go to huddle. We just got a set play. We're going to go ahead and hike it. Because when they got to the two with Mike Davis, it was a run play. If everybody maybe ran to the line and just hurry up and did maybe another quick run, like you said, nobody had time to sub in, nobody had time to come out, and they were just kind of all straggling around. But instead, they slowed it down, went to a play action pass on the first
Mm-hmm.
play, and
Mm-hmm.
it went to nothing. It just kept
You
going.
know, and I get what you're saying, because I know we've been, in my play, as a coach, especially as an offensive coordinator, I've always said when we got in a certain area, I said, okay, if we get inside the 5, the play is this at the line of scrimmage.
Exactly.
So as soon as we catch the ball, get in the 5 on the 5, quarterback looks at me and say, let's go.
Yeah,
And he line up, he'll say what the play is, snap the ball, boom, before they even get set, touchdown.
exactly. Exactly. I would have, I don't know. I thought maybe we
And
would
it,
have
and even if you go fast in that situation and don't score, you still got 2 more plays to get
plays.
it together.
Hmm.
But at least try to get it in quickly. Don't let them catch their breath.
Exactly. Some big fellas. No
Yeah,
offense to the
don't
big
let them
guys,
catch their
but
breath.
you keep them. They had to be tired from that. Mike
They,
Davis struck one of them.
yeah, they were confused. They
Yeah.
were confused. But then we let them gather themselves, and they got themselves together. And uh, here's what surprised me, because I said the team that wins this game will be the team that has the better coaching. And I thought we had the better coach going into this game. I thought we were the better staff
Hmm.
and was ready to play in this game. But their young, their young coordinator, head coach, and their young defensive coordinator outcoached us. They outcoached us.
Yeah.
And that was hard to see.
Yeah. It was difficult all the way around. Trying to be, I was optimistic when I went in. I thought that Falcons would win it, honestly.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
now I guess we got to turn the page and look to Tampa, the defending Super Bowl champions in their home, who don't seem to miss a beat.
Right. Well, you got to understand this, William. It could happen
Yeah.
because these are professionals,
Hmm.
and their pride is on the line. You can't lay down. You lay down, guess what happens? Me as an owner, me as a general manager, and I'm looking who's going to lay down, who's quitting on me. I got to get rid of those guys. Coaching staff, I got to look at players. Are you quitting on me? As a owner and GM, I got to look at my coaching staff. Have you made adjustments for us to be better? So everybody's under a microscope going into week 2, but it can happen. And I don't think it'll happen that Tampa Bay will overlook the Falcons, but things can happen.
Yeah.
But here it is, William. The NFC South has gotten better. Someone asked me, what does a New Orleans Saints team look like without Drew Brees? I said, more dynamic. I said, what do you mean? I said, they're gonna be better. What do you mean? You have a quarterback now that can move in the pocket and make plays with his legs and can get the ball downfield. In a Sean Payton's offense, he is going to be dangerous, and he was dangerous. This is where Carolina's going to be down. If McCaffrey is healthy, and you got a quarterback that's playing to prove to people that he can play the league, and we already know about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and so
Yeah.
we're the only team. We're the only team. Uh, we're the
That's
only team
hell.
in the division that looks like we rebuilding, and that's what kills me. A lot of people say, just say what it is a rebuild year. This is not a rebuild year. It is not. You have a good core of your team coming back, and you got a former NFL MVP at quarterback, a former Super Bowl quarterback.
Mhm.
Over the first 13 years, have more yards than any other quarterback that ever played the game. So you have a good football team. The problem is remember way back, show number 2, 3, 4, and 5, when I said you're only 2 or 3 players away
Yes.
from being really, really good, and you have to get them in free agency. And we didn't do it.
Oh.
We didn't do it. We didn't have the money to do it.
Mm-mm.
And I get it. We didn't have the money, so we had to bring guys, veterans in on 1-year deals and try to patch things up and put it together. It's just there's just no cohesiveness right now. But it can get there. It can get there. It's still early. We got 16 more games.
Yeah, that's the good thing. They did add an extra game this year, so 16 more to go. But yeah, the Falcons were the only team in the division not to win their game. Carolina won, New Orleans, and
Yeah.
of course Tampa.
Right.
So what you got for us to end this show, T?
Uh here here's what I got, and it's not even something motivational, positive whatsoever. But here's what I and here's what I've seen from this Falcons team and its players. They're not happy with what's going on right now. If you hear some of what is being said by its players, it almost an indictment on this coaching staff because we didn't have the right plays. The right plays weren't being called. We weren't in the right situations with this and that. That's but they followed suit of the head coach when the head coach said it's my fault that I didn't have us prepared. So guess what the players did? Yep, it's your fault. Yep, it's your fault. So when you come back to the players and say you shouldn't have said that, but coach, you just said it was your fault, and I was just letting them know it was your fault too.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the positive take from this. This football team is looking for someone, a leader, to step up and take them in the right direction. They're so tired of losing that they need their head football coach to be that leader. They need the head football coach to say the right things and do the right things to take this organization in the right direction. If he can't do that, it's going to be a long season.
Well, everybody, I hope next week we could be talking about a Falcons win. So we'll just have to wait and see. But check us out now every Tuesday. Y'all have a great day, everyone. See you.